Hi, welcome to today's video. My name's Paul. So today I'm trying to draw the image that you can see on the screen. I'm trying to draw in the style of an artist called Seurat. He was a French artist. He's famous for sort of pointillist style paintings, but today I'm more interested in trying to recreate his drawing style. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope it inspires you to maybe have a go at something similar yourself. Okay, so today, as you can see on the screen, 3 examples there. These are drawings by a man called Seurat, an artist called Seurat. He was a French artist, and he died very young, but he was around sort of the latter stages of the Impressionists. So there was some overlap between him and people like Monet and Pissarro and those sort of guys. Seurat is most famous for his painting style, which was quite different and unique. Well, actually, there were about 3 or 4 guys who painted in this style, and art historians have labeled them as neo-impressionists. And their style was pointillism, using tiny points of pure color. When you step back from the painting, your eyes can't resolve all of the tiny dots, so they blend together, and it was called optical blending. But I'm not so interested in this video in his painting style, it's more his drawing style. And my goal was to try and use his style, or see if I could sort of copy his style to create my own drawing. He did a lot of drawings of people in the street or portraits, also theater, music, that type of thing. So I'm also doing a sort of street scene. Now, this street scene for me was a homeless man. So that's my subject matter. I'm not using Conte like Seurat did. Seurat used Conte pastels or Conte crayons. I'm using vine charcoal. But they're kind of very similar. Conte is just a compressed charcoal or compressed graphite. It's usually mixed with some sort of binder like wax or something. Maybe some clay mixed in and then pressed into a mold. So the Conte pastel is quite hard, it's quite brittle, and it has a square cross section, whereas the vine charcoal has a circular cross section and is very soft and is more natural. They're actually quite similar, but not exactly the same. Some of the other things I was using, you can see I'm using a blending stamp here. A blending stamp is just made from paper. The paper is wrapped around very, very tightly into this sort of pencil type shape, if you like. It's sharpened at both ends. It's good for just blending and mixing the charcoal, pushing the charcoal into the texture of the paper. The paper that I'm using is Strathmore paper. There's nothing special about that. I'm not affiliated with Strathmore. This is not an advertisement for Strathmore paper. It's just that's the paper that I had. It has a textured surface, which is quite good for catching the charcoal dust. Other things that I use, and you'll see it in a minute or two, is a kneadable eraser. If you've never used one of these, it's very useful for working with things like charcoal. And it's quite elastic, and it's very soft, and you can sort of pick the charcoal dust off the surface of the paper. I also use tissue paper for blending the charcoal dust. So this style of drawing, at least the way I approached it, I don't know how Seurat did it, but the way I approached it was layers. So you can see I put down lots of layers, blending them, putting more charcoal on top of it, and slowly building up the image. This that I'm using at the moment, this is the kneadable eraser. And you can see it's very good for lifting off charcoal and creating different values. And this whole drawing style is all about values rather than lines. Usually when we're drawing and sketching, we're creating lines, we're creating the shapes using lines, but this style is using values, light and dark, to try and create those shapes. In the past, I have done quite a few charcoal landscapes, but sort of charcoal cityscapes or figure drawings, not so much. But it's something I want to try and get into more. Okay, so we're getting towards the end of the drawing now, and you can start to see the whole thing beginning to take shape. It's just patience with this, building up the layers one after another. The initial shape that you put down is important, but you can alter it a little bit. So don't be too worried about making marks on the paper. You can always blend things in, move things, lift some of the charcoal off. If you've never tried this style of drawing, I definitely recommend it. It's sort of somewhere in between drawing and painting. So like I say, drawing, we often think of it as drawing lines. This is more about creating shapes through value. So this is the final drawing. It's not perfect, but it's a good start, I think. And it does a little bit resemble some of Seurat's drawings. And that was my goal. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's video and maybe of some use and maybe inspire you to try this. Like I say, you don't need much material, some sort of charcoal or conte, paper with a bit of a rough surface, and then some things to blend it like tissue paper, maybe a kneadable eraser. So if you'd like to subscribe, just click on the big red button below, and I'll see you in the next video.